All right. We're going to talk a little Friday kickoff. Rather than doing FanDuel for first look wise, I'm going to run projections today. And since we have two good slates, we're going to talk about the DK Friday slate today. Tomorrow, I'll set something up. We'll go over probably player pools for both slates. Have a little extended stream later in the day. It'd be a good reason for me to get away from everybody that's going to be crowded in, or maybe while they're all sleeping late in the day. And I will do player pools for both, and then we'll kind of do live before locks on Friday and Saturday, so that we can see if we can win some money on the last full weekend of the season. With it split into two, it's kind of nice because we get the extra games mixed in there. But leading this thing off with Ole Miss taking on Mississippi State in the old Egg Bowl. I liked it when this game was on a Thursday during Thanksgiving. That was personal preference. 62.5 over under, one of the highest on the slate. 34.5 for Ole Miss in constant turmoil with Lane Kiffin allegedly having purchased a house here in Louisiana. 28 for Mississippi State. Maybe he just bought the house for his daughter to hang out with her LSU football boyfriend. Also a fun way to spend the holidays. So looking at this thing, I think you're going to want a ton of interest in Ole Miss. Mississippi State absolutely putrid on the back end, but this is a game that tends to play close. So I don't think you can trust Blake Shapen because of how much they've been utilizing Kamario Taylor. He's just been in games too much. I think he'll have plenty of packages. So I think Shapen at 7,600 is overpriced. Shambliss, on the other hand, is probably live for 25 to 30 points. He's probably going to end up being the safest floor on the entire slate. It does not mean that he has the ceiling. I will have interest in Shambliss. We haven't accessed his upside in quite a while. So we're going to need a ceiling game out of him in order for him to make the big difference, because there's a lot of good running back play. This almost feels like it could be a one quarterback slate. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks on this one, but some teams that are extremely appealing here. Lots of very good running back play, starting with Keywan Lacey, who is an absolute dominant force for this team. Man, I mean, there's an argument to be made that he's as good, if not a better play. Definitely on a points per dollar basis, he's a better play than Shambliss. At 8K, he's taking on a Mississippi State team that is the equivalent on defense with the run defense to the meme guy of the security dude checking where he doesn't even touch them. He's just letting people through. He's probably got to be one of the, if not the top option on the slate from a guaranteed production standpoint. Not super interested in Devon Booth nor Fluff. Kind of splitting work pretty heavily. I just don't love that situation personally. If Mississippi State's getting there through the air more than likely. Evans and Thompson being the primary beneficiaries. I think you can take shots. They're just hard to project in this spot. I don't love it. If you were game stacking this thing, you would probably go Lacey, maybe Shambliss with two wide receivers for Mississippi State. That kind of feels weird. Yeah, we got to win. These are some of the better slates of the year. I do like that we get the double this weekend. It can be very profitable. My favorite, I will say, you're saying it's the best slates of the year. I will say Conference Championship Saturday is probably my favorite. That I love that one. It used to be New Year's Day, but that kind of got ruined a little bit. Ole Miss side, Harrison Wallace, we're coming back. 5,300. He would be my top stack partner in this spot. But let's be honest, this thing goes all over the place. Yes, thank you, thank you. I make the green bean casserole every year. Made it for the past 30 plus years. I love green bean casserole. It is my number one dish on Thanksgiving. Love it. I make it every year. I've been making it every year since I was a kid. I love that stuff. You get the key is to use more onions than you think you need. That's the key. Caden Lee, he's going to be a perpetual tease. No, thank you. Deuce Alexander. I mean, like, look at this. It's just going to be a massive amount of people that get nothing. Where is Winston Watkins or Wallace Watkins or whatever the heck this fool's name is? 4,300. I mean, guys, I'm not. How do you play an Ole Miss wide receiver? I mean, I understand if you take shots at Harrison Wallace. I can't play him. I just cannot play an Ole Miss wide receiver. They absolutely suck. All right. Utah taking on Kansas. This is a fun little game. 59.5, 36 for Utah, 23.5 for Kansas. I wish one of these two guys would go away. Bird Ficklin is an absolute problem. He sucks life out of Dampier. Dampier got there last week, but it was just kind of coincidental that he got here last week. Yeah, exactly. If Ole Miss loses, I don't. That would be just something. North Texas, somewhere boat. We're gonna talk about them coming up too. Jalen Daniels, meh. Like I'm probably out. I know it's at Kansas. I think this Utah team's pretty solid. It's not great. Ficklin and Dampier, I just think you avoid because it's just too much of a problem. Parker, I like a good bit. I worry about his touchdown capability because of the quarterbacks running it. Yeah, I think paying playing 4 running backs is viable here. Um, Here, let's just put in like initial out the gate favorite plays. I think Lacey's definitely going to be in there. Highshaw, I'm a fan of, but at 6K, am I really? Probably not. Nakari Rogers, he's a FanDuel guy for me because he's the type that he could get 2 carries for 2 touchdowns, and then that's kind of what you get, and it works out. Now, Ryan Davis being out is going to present some interesting stuff for sure. Dallin Bentley immediately becomes the top option of the pass offense. After that, I'm going to have to think on it. I'll come back with that, but there's maybe some value with the Utah wideout, but I don't think you're really going to see it. I mean, even Bowden Grown is priced up. What an ugly, ugly game. I mean, that's a game that's got like a nice total, 36 for Utah, and it's going to come in like the crappiest of ways. It's going to be like Bird Ficklin runs 3 in, and Dampier throws for 2, 1 to Bentley and 1 to some crapper we've never heard of. And then somebody else runs another one, like Nakari Rogers gets one. It's just, he has 1 carry for 7 yards. Iowa taking on Nebraska. Talk about a crap game. This one's got 20 points less of team total in it between Utah and Kansas. 23 for Iowa, 16.5 for the Huskies. The Huskers. Mark Gronowski, I mean, he scores a rushing touchdown virtually every game. It's not going to be pretty, but maybe he can get you 20. I mean, he can hit value here at 6K. That is very possible. I don't think you put him out of your pool. I think you take Latif out, but I think Gronowski is viable at 6K in that spot. Emmett Johnson just gets so much volume, but the matchup sucks. He can get there on pure volume, get 25 on pure volume. So you got to keep him in the pool. I doubt I'm interested in Moulton or anybody else in this game. It's pretty much Johnson. I can't play Moulton. I'd rather pay 1,000 more for Johnson, and I would much rather just take Gronowski. That's how I'm going to get the access to the rushing upside. You'd never play anybody from Iowa on the outside of the passing game. Legion, actually, a dang good player, but you're going to need a punt return for a touchdown for him to get there. Uh, I mean, these guys have struggled since. I think it. I like Gronowski in this spot at 6K. I think that's the viable way to play. If I was playing two quarterbacks, it's with Gronowski probably. Um, and think about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not paying any. Like this is just one of those games. It's Gronowski or nothing, and maybe Emmett Johnson on the Nebraska side, and that's it. All right, getting into the favorite stuff here. This is the MAC, little MAC action. 44.5 in Ohio Buffalo, 25.5 for Ohio, 19 for the Buffalo Bulls. Buffalo kind of disappointing this year. The fact that their quarterback left, they just kind of died after that. Great wide receivers, good running back, and yet Taquan Roberson just sucks. Former Kansas State player, I'm pretty sure he was at UConn first before he went to be a backup at Kansas State. He just kind of sucks. He's not going to run for anything. He can throw the ball pretty decent, has good weapons. I'd rather play the weapons. Parker Navarro wants a 7th year of eligibility. He still can't throw the football. You can't count on it. It's at Buffalo. I don't particularly like it. He's live to run for 100 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he's just not playing well. He's the type of guy that I just don't think I trust in this spot. Bangura, I will be in on. No doubt about it. He's going to get 20-plus carries. He's a walking 30 points, in this spot. He dominates MAC competition. He was the MAC player of the year a couple years ago, went off to Minnesota, did not fare pretty well there, comes back. He's absolutely dominant. This defense is not particularly great, so I would put Bangura. He was one of my top 3 G5 running backs heading into the year, and he's done nothing to dispel that with over 100 yards per game and 14 touchdowns on the ground. Aljai Henderson, also one of my favorite running backs in the country, but he has absolutely struggled in Ohio. Even now with that, they have a lot of their team that went to Charlotte this year. I am not particularly interested in Aljai. He's just priced up for his name value, not compared to his actual production. I mentioned the top 2 on Buffalo being extremely good wide receivers. They are very good skinny stacks with Bangura. Victor Snow being chief among them. He's the more slotty, quick option. Very good wide receiver, but not somebody I'm going to be super, super into. I'll be interested, but not crazy interested. And then McMillan, he's more of your X wideout. I'm more interested in McMillan than I am in Victor Snow. I prefer McMillan personally. So I would have most interest in McMillan if I was to plug somebody in. Chase Hendricks has absolutely struggled the last couple of weeks. He can be a high volume pass catcher and a guy that dominates targets for Ohio. If you're going to play somebody with Navarro, which you do not need to do, it would be Hendricks more than likely. Reed Harris is your shot play option that if Navarro fails, it's possible that Rodney Harris, that he takes off and does something. Other than that, that's all I'm going to play from the wide receiver standpoint. Personally, there's not a ton of pass volume mainly in the Ohio offense in particular. If anybody's going to get there, it's going to be one guy who gets there, as Navarro and Bangura are going to see 30 plus to probably 40 plus touches on the ground in this one. I would much prefer to play the Buffalo pass attack, as that's where Ohio is weakest on the defensive side of the football. And McMillan just kind of leads the way for me by comparison to Victor Snow. I am a fan of that Buffalo. I really wish they had a good quarterback. If they had a decent quarterback, that team wins 9 games and is competing for the MAC title. Like, I'm telling you. That was one of the most disappointing teams since the start of the year. Talk about the awful suckiness of the game. Kent State taking on Northern Illinois. 44.5 in this one. Same as the previous game. Far less appeal here. 24.5 for Northern Illinois. 20 points for Kent State. This kid, DeShields, he sucks. How he got 5 touchdowns against Akron, I don't know. He gave you the blade on that Maction week. He sucks. But so does Northern Illinois. Their offense from the passing, like the quarterback standpoint, they suck too. I mean, geez. The fact that this kid ran for 98 yards, it was against UMass. I get it. But he ran for 98 yards and 3 touchdowns on 4 completions. They're not going to throw the football. Kent State sucks. Like, this is the ugliest of ugly slates right here. I think you can take shots on Macon if you wanted to. Both of these court, I'm never going to play DeShields at 7,300 because he's that crap. Dude, no, NIU stopped playing football when they announced they were leaving the MAC and going to the Mountain West or the Pac-12 or whatever the heck they're going to now. Because, I mean, good gracious. I mean, they suck. Siobhan Wright, good little player, but maybe. I think you could take shots there. Telly Johnson, I'm a Telly Johnson fan, but they don't give him enough work, personally. I wish they gave him more work. So I would say Wright, then Telly. They have it priced appropriately. The other side of this is like Kent State doesn't have much of a prettier combination. Gavin Garcia's trended towards being the one because Jordan Newbin's been absolutely awful from an efficiency standpoint. You cannot play Jordan Newbin. I think Garcia would be the play of the pair, but even then, I think these teams, it's a battle of ineptitude here between these guys. Wolford is the only. I think maybe he's the only guy that I'd even consider on the Kent State side at 4,400. And similarly, like De'Ari Rogers is by far and away the top option for Northern Illinois. But like I just showed you, they're going to throw the ball maybe 7 times. Like Jalen Macon has 11 pass attempts in the past 2 games. So I would expect. Oh, look at that. No, you got that. Yeah, they're splitting. So, like, you can't even play Macon. You can't trust it. He threw it 4 times the week before. He threw it 8 times. Like, let's see. Holst has been out. And then has Proctor played any? Nope. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're splitting work here at quarterback. It's like this game just as the funny part is the over under the total amount of points scored is expected to be the exact same in Northern Illinois, Kent State as Ohio and Buffalo. One game, there's a lot of very comfortable plays. One game, there is not very much uncomfortability. I would probably just stick to the NIU running backs, but even then, it's nothing that I'm super pumped about for sure. More crappiness. Air Force taking on Colorado State. 45.5 over under. 24 for Air Force, 21.5 for Colorado State. Air Force's pass defense is an absolute sieve, but Colorado State can't throw the football. So kind of a problem. I wish Liam Zarko was playing because he would be a jam. I mean, he would be priced up here somewhere, but he would be a jam immediately because Colorado State can't stop anything either. Brousseau, he sucks. I mean, he was out for the game against Boise State. Darius Curry. Dude, Rocky Beers, man. Rocky Beers is a beast. I'm interested. I don't disagree with you. I actually do like this Curry kid. He's thrown the ball well 2 weeks in a row. Provided he's starting in this week, I'll just double check that. If Curry starts, I 100% agree with you that because Air Force sucks on the back end. I mean, you're calling your shot and you're calling it to a T. Now, What I will tell you, 20 carries, 50. Why is that saying this? Running back. Kemper Hodges. All right. I guess he doesn't he had 20. See, that's the disappointing part here. Is that Tosh Bullock? Tosh Bullock? I didn't know he was at man, the things you learn. I didn't realize Tosh Bullock was at Colorado State. I wish one of these guys would that sucks. That really does suck. I wish Liam Zarko was because like the thing is like these Air Force quarterback, like the matchup could not be any better for Air Force. I can already tell you I'm playing him. I don't even care. I don't care what is going on. I don't care what the carry split's been. Dylan Carson and me, we are simpatico. I have played Dylan Carson so many times over the years, and he just rips off a 70-yard touchdown right out the gate, and I'm like, that's my man. I actually previewed this Air Force team before the season. They have not been on one main slate all year until now. So I really wish Zarko was the starter because, like, those Air Force quarterbacks can win you so much money because they're like nobody really likes to play them, and they can be cheap enough but they can run for 200 yards and like 5 touchdowns, and it's ridiculous. So what's Owen Allen been up to? See, that's the thing with Owen Allen. Like he can get you some carries, but I don't know. I don't like that price. I mean, he's got some explosive capability. I just don't like that price. I'm not an Owen Allen guy. Now that Dupree's gone, Avant's going to see most of the work. I will be interested in Lloyd Avant. I'm not interested in Marshall. Not really interested in Kennard. Yeah, so I would say Avant. I also would have interest in at 4,900. That's a very fair price tag, but I'm probably like to Myron's point. I'm probably going to end up with Curry Beers as my top stack. Oh, 100%. You're going to want to play an Air Force running back. 100%. Now, Caden Frew, or this kid Frew, there was a ton of hype for him in the offseason. I can't speak to how he's actually played. I have not seen an Air Force game all year. We're in week 14. That's how they just haven't been on the slate, and they're not on TV hardly ever. So Frug was getting a lot of hype in the offseason, but clearly he hasn't done much. Owen Allen, like I said, I think he's a good little player. He's a guy that I would be willing to take shots on. It's not my favorite play, as I say, which typically most of their work goes through the. I mean, I think. Ew. Why are they not handing the ball off? Like, is it just quarterbacks getting all the carries, just vulturing over here? Like how? Like Dylan Carson used to. Where's that game from last year? I'll tell you exactly right now. I think it was when did I play Dylan Carson last year? I like this kid. I mean, he's ugly as sin, but I like him. Hang on, where's 2024? What was the game? Was it San Diego State? Yeah, I played him against San Diego State last year. 24 carries, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So when did Zarka go out? Like, what's the deal? When did Zarka leave this game last week? Is it last week? No, Zarka's been out. No. Hang on. Out for the season. Yeah. Zarka. That's what I'm saying, though. If he's out from the 21st. All right, hang on. I got to look at these game logs. They're just throwing me off so bad. Because I'm like, how do you have no running back here? I mean, New Mexico, they got blasted. But we're also talking about this is Colorado State. This ain't New Mexico. So they played Josh Johnson and Kemper Hodges last week. Kemper Hodges ran the ball 20 times for 50 yards. Like, what's the purpose of running this retard for 2.5 yards of carries? Excuse me. Excuse my French. What is up with this JV roster? How do you run? I don't particularly like this Kemper Rogers guy. How do you run him 20 times? I so what I would tell you is if I was going to make a bet on an Air Force running back, it would be Dylan Carson. That's just personal preference is what I'll say. Uh, I'm not playing Cade Harris. There's way too much risk in this. So no, 0% chance there. I will play Rocky Beers. He's the clear top option. The man's scoring basically every week. He's getting a ton of targets, especially with Curry in the lineup. Taylor Neer, also not a bad option. I mean, there's a legitimate shot you could double stack these guys, but Beers would be my top option. 5,100, very good price on him, very palatable. Good stack option here to get you 11K for a very good stack for a team that's got what a 21 and a half. I mean, there's a 24-point projection on Air Force. Where's the points coming from? I think it's Dylan Carson. That's just personal preference. Personal preference, people. San Diego State takes on New Mexico. Actually, a tougher game than you would think. 41 and a half in this one. 21 and a half for San Diego State. 20 for New Mexico. You can't play Denegal. He's terrible. I don't think you can play Jack Lane necessarily. He's more playable than Denegal. That's about the best you're getting out of me on that one. I still think the San Diego State defense is legit. Lucky Sutton's priced up a little more than I would prefer. He gets a ton of work, but it's not hyper efficient. I probably am out there. Yeah. Damon Bankston, he's explosive to an extent, but McKinney's going to cut into that work a ton. I'm not, especially against this defense, not super interested there either. Like, this is a game that I'm just not going to like. Like, Keegan Johnson's a very high volume target for them, the former Kansas State transfer. But I'm not playing Dorian Thomas. I don't know that Napier even plays. I guess in theory, if Napier doesn't play, I will have a tad bit of interest in Donovan Brown. He's the clear top option in this offense. But otherwise, maybe I would have a little bit of interest if Napier played. He would be the one option for me. All right. Now we're starting to get into the big boys. North Texas takes on Temple. 65 and a half over under. 43 points for North Texas. Even though Chad Morris now does not wear North Texas gear to his press conferences. Chad Morris no longer will work for the North Texas Mean Green. Most of these players will now move on to Oklahoma State, more than likely, including Drew Mestamaker. Gonna be points scored? I just don't know, man. So I think you have to buy in that they are going to try to score points. Or they're going to try to win, big, and they're going to try to make the playoff and continue down this path, right? I think you have to play that way. The fun thing is that coming into the year, you would have thought, oh, North Texas is a high-flying passing offense. It hasn't been. It's been a run offense with a ton of touchdowns scored on the ground, and Mestamaker has not been particularly great. So at 8,300, I'm in. Yeah, I know, right? Yep. Hey, I'm happy. Hey, look, if James Madison ends up being the first team out and we go at whatever and won, then I can claim we should have been in it. And that's the best thing I can say about that. I will take that. And then I don't have to worry about getting blown out. Nor do I have to worry about going to a game where we get blown out. So I have interest in Mestamaker. He's just not going to be my favorite play at 8,300. I will be on it, though. Evan Simon sucks, so I'm not interested there. And I think this defense is bleh, but I'm not super interested. He does have the ability every once in a while to pop one off, but I'm not going to go there. Now, so this is who I've been waiting for and hoping for, but little did I know that he was going to be 10K. So this kid Hawkins has been an absolute stud. And I knew it because he scored multiple touchdowns. He gets a ton of carries. He absolutely dominates the ground game. He's been as good or better than Jeremiah Love, I would say, arguably. Daggone it. I really was hoping to be able to play Hawkins. I don't know that you can at 10K. That's a lot. I mean, you're going to need 50 to feel good about it. McGill gets some work. Like, man, that's tough. That's tough, dude. All right, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna think on that. I might end up having to fade Hawk. I was really excited to play Hawkins. Dang it! I had previewed this team so much. I love this team. Ducker. I think Ducker's a fine play. Ducker's gonna catch the football. Playing for Casey Keeler. I cannot stand. I don't think so, Myron. I really think Mestamaker goes to Oklahoma State with Chad Moore or with Eric Morris. I'm yeah. I'm pretty sure he goes there. I'll tell you right now, if I am Tony Elliott, I am taking whatever job I can because there's nothing gonna you're that everything the stars perfectly aligned for him at UVA, and he was gonna get fired if he had a bad year. And yeah, so I would if I'm Tony Elliott, I'm running away from UVA as fast as possible. Wide receiver wise, Wyatt Young's been playing out of his skull. I mean, look at that. Last game out, 295 yards receiving. Wyatt Young's been playing insane. For 6,800, it's just such a cheap price tag for a guy that's had over 33 and 4 of 5, over 22 and 5 of 6. I mean, that's kind of hard to fade. Dorner, he's capable of popping off at 4,800. He's reasonable price tag, but I would 1,000% prefer Young in that spot. Trey Williams is meh. I'm not super interested there. My favorite guy coming into the year was Miles Coleman. He's been disappointing, although I did call the 7-catch 100-yard game. Somehow that's the only week this season that I've played Miles Coleman. That worked out. Landon Sides, he'll be on the field, but not interested. So I would say, looking at the Temple side, it's Halloween, which is actually a decent value there at 39, and or not Clark, not Peter Clark. Although Peter Clark scoring some points. I'm not super interested in Peter Clark. It would be Bermudez. Bermudez was definitely their possession wide receiver. I think they're going to throw the football from behind. I think Bermudez is not terrible at 3,400 as an option there on the back end. I can't believe that price tag on Caleb Hawkins. That is so disheartening. Golly. I really wanted to be able to play Caleb Hawkins. They really make it hard sometimes. I applaud them for doing that. Because at least then I can't play Lacey, Bangura, and Hawkins. But like Lacey's matchup is the nuts. Bangura's matchup solid. I'd rather play those two than play Hawkins at 10K. Georgia taking on Georgia Tech, 59.5 in this one. Georgia, 36.5 point team total. Georgia Tech, 23. I would take Georgia Tech laying the point or getting the points. See, you say Georgia going to smoke them. Georgia Tech is very good at playing as a dog in a spot that they're supposed to get smoked, i.e., last year against Georgia. Last week was the perfect spot for them to lose to Pittsburgh. It was written all over it. I bet it. It was just too perfect because Pitt excels at stopping the run. And, I mean, Georgia Tech kind of sucks on defense. I don't think I love Haynes King at 9,500. I kind of agree with that sentiment that it would be kind of tough to play him. I think you could take a couple shots here and there. I would prefer some of these other running backs like Mestamaker. or quarterbacks like Mestamaker, obviously Curry, and maybe Navarro, Gronowski for sure, and then Shambliss would probably be the guys that I prefer over him. I might prefer Stockton, actually. I think there's paths where Stockton has a monster here with multiple rushing touchdowns and throws for 300. So I do have interest in Stockton, and I wouldn't mind stacking him up. Nate Frazier's too expensive for me. I don't think he gets the 3x value here. Too much splitting of work. Doesn't really get all the goal line work. Kind of gets poached there. You're going to have Bowens in some. You're going to have McRae come in, poach a touchdown. Like there's just too many. Cash Jones going to come in. So I'm not super interested in him because of the price tag. If he was 5,500, I'd have a ton of interest. 7K, it's going to make it a lot more prohibitive for me to want to be interested. So I'd be more apt to play Gunnar Stockton. Haynes is a backup at this point. Hosley's not particularly great by comparison. Bo Walker. Yeah, I'm not. No, he just happened to get all that garbage time work. Zach Branch at 5,600, always in play because he's going to catch 6 to 8 balls, maybe 10. It's not going to go for a ton of yardage, not going to be very deep. He has one 100-yard game on the season. I do wish they would stretch the field with him more. He has all the ability in the world. I'm a fan of his. They just don't stretch the field enough for me personally. Is Colby Young starting to come back? That'd be cool. I don't think Colby Young probably comes back for this one after the broken leg. I don't know why he's questionable. I don't know why he's priced there. Noah Thomas at 3,600 is extremely live for a touchdown. This is actually so Branch is eating. That's the thing, Myron, but they're not throwing deep balls to him. I don't understand why he doesn't get like sluggos or like hitch and goes or corner routes or like streaks or skinny posts or RPO plays over the middle. Like it's none of that stuff. And it drives me insane because he has the ability when he catches that football to just wiggle his way through. So I think Noah Thomas is a fabulous play here at 3,600. Extreme interest for me in Branch Thomas. I understand if you want to take shots on Dylan Bell. I'm not particularly interested. I prefer Thomas as the red zone target. I'd understand if you want to go Lawson Lucky, Oscar Delp, either of those guys. Chasing touchdowns. I'm not, it's not quite my thing. I think Canyon, Rutherford, Rivers, they're all too risky for me to take shots on in that spot. I'd prefer to just go Haynes King over any of them because of that. But like I said, I think Gunnar Stockton, great play. That'll leave you 4,600. We can kind of figure it out from there. But this is kind of just a first play around, so we'll see what happens. Also need to see what Bryson Barnes is priced at. So, final game on the slate, Boise State taking on Utah State, 55.5 over under, 29.5 for Boise State. Meh. 26 for Utah State. I might end up coming off of this because I actually do want to get a piece of this game. No Maddox Madsen. They're not going to throw the football. I would not touch any of the. I mean, man scored 9 points against Colorado State and he threw it 34 times. That's ridiculous. No interest whatsoever in the Boise passing attack. I mean, I just ignore that now. Bryson Barnes. Oh, yeah. You got to love anytime Bronco at home is a dog, you buy it. I'm interested in Bryson Barnes. This Boise defense isn't particularly great. Barnes at 7,900, fair price tag. That would give me 5,300. Well, anyway, we'll see. I do not love this pricing. I was hoping I would. So I do not like Miles Davis. Does not throw the football extremely well. This one can't play the trumpet, so I'm not particularly into that one. I would much prefer Javin Jacobs because he does a little bit on the ground, but I like his pass catching upside, and getting him in space does benefit them. Now, The concern, Myron, for the Utah State side is going to come at the wide receiver position coming up here in a second. I think Gaines or Riley is the tricky call. Riley could easily pop a ton of work. Gaines has far exceeded him in goal line work over the last month. So I would prefer Gaines to that point. I don't think I would go Riley. I think I would go Gaines. I'm not a Sherrod guy, so no thank you. But everybody's going to touch the football a ton. I would go Gaines. If I was playing anybody on Boise's entire roster, it'd be Gaines, personally. I don't like any of the wideouts. I'm not playing Marshall, Caples, any of them. I'm fairly certain I read that Pagan was going to be out. Hang on. Where is he? I saw him get hurt in that game. This is the thing I like and I don't like about this, about these slates, is like I'm fairly certain that because I was watching that Utah State game because I have issues, but I need to double check that because I was fairly certain that Pagan got hurt and was going to be out this week. I saw him. I'm certain I saw him get hurt. Let me check injury news here. Miller Moss, Cuevas. Nope, I don't have anything new. So anyway, yeah, Sire Gaines was so good last weekend. I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait on that one because I swear Pagan got hurt. So I saw a wide receiver wearing a 1 on it for Utah State down holding a knee. So I would need to wait and see on that. Brady Boyd. Like if he's down, then Brady Boyd steps in, or some of these other guys, like a Brock Lane might get some more run at tight end. They might throw the ball at tight end a little bit more. Maybe it's Davis. Yeah, see, like somebody got hurt. All right, I'm gonna have to look into that because that might create some value that I'm super interested in. So yeah, I do have interest in the Utah State pass game and the quarterback play. I have interest in the Boise run game, mainly through Sire Gaines. Oh my goodness, look who fits. I just happen to build a team that fits. All right, well, I'm gonna put that team off to the side because I'm playing that. Y'all know I'm playing that because I love me some. I mean, it just happens to fit exactly perfect with my man Carson, who I had in there and I took out because I was like, oh, let me see. You always got to play a guy named Beers. I mean, this is like all of my favorite players, or a lot of my favorite players. Like Keywan Lacey, love that dude. Bangura, love that dude from years ago. Rocky Beers. If that was Victor Snow, it would probably be the all-time team. Noah Thomas, I like. Carson's won me a ton of money before. Stockton, I like. So I think this is our starter team. We'll put that. I'm going to set that off to the side, and I'll have that. All right. So I'm going to run projections for Friday and Saturday today. Get that stuff put in, and then I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow night, Thanksgiving night, after everybody's taking a nap or whatever, and then I will try to go through plays on the slates, the core plays and everything, and then I'm going to do live before locks on Friday and Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Just ripping through, trying to build my Teams, what do we got? This Friday kickoff's $20. Yeah, so I'll probably have 5 teams in this, 4 teams on the Saturday. The turkey hangover. We'll see. We'll see how many teams I end up with in this one. But I'm going to play a couple of things and just to kind of decide what I like and what I don't like. I don't know that I'll play 20 max on Friday, but I'll probably play. I'm definitely playing 20 max on Saturday. So I will be back live the rest of the week. Like I said, tomorrow night, I'm going to set all the streams up maybe late tonight or so you guys can check out the schedule. And we'll have a Thursday night stream. We'll have a Friday morning and a Saturday morning stream as we look to wrap up the regular season prior to getting into the bowl season and conference championship week in Army Navy. So I will see you guys tomorrow night in the evening, and keep an eye out for the schedule. Appreciate you guys tuning in.